but in terms of like, calling yourself independent media and then taking a bunch of money, this was our same critique of TYT, who then accused us of being a part of this like
we have advertisers,
because we have advertisers
that we actually like are paid to announce that connection on the show as a part of the advertisement.
Right. And like, but that was their kind of branding of independent is undercut by the Peter Thiel money from both like these exploitative Medicare Advantage things and also Poly Market. So, but that's even somehow still more independent than taking money like directly from a Democratic firm and then saying you can't disclose it.
The vanguard will be there, sir.
I'm really excited to see what Emma Vigeland and Mat Lech have to say. I've seen some tweets from both of them that, hinted at the fact that we're in pretty much lockstep agreement on this one. But did you have anything to add before we react to some of it?
Definitely excited to get the opinion of the Majority Report crew. Again, I recommend watching this entire segment. We're going to, jump forward to like 6 minutes in or so when it really gets good. And when they bring up TYT, because obviously, not only us, but, Emma, Sam, they've been very critical of the corporate sponsors that have taken over TYT and the Katzenberg cash and all that kind of stuff. So some interesting, insights here.
Account made this point that it feels like all of these influencers were there to convince old people that that Biden had young support versus trying to get young people on board with Biden. I thought that was such a great point.
The old people are more likely to get their wallets out for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Look at all these young, nice influencers that are saying, actually, people don't care about Gaza. People don't like Bernie Sanders that much or AOC. They want Alyssa Slotkin.
And we got a clip of Hassan that someone sent to us reacting to it. I am proud to say that the Majority Report, I don't think we were approached, right? I mean, we would have
maybe Sam was, and Sam laughed at it.
Yeah, I mean, or it got lost in junk email and we would have never responded to it anyway. But in terms of like, calling yourself independent media and then taking a bunch of money, this was our same critique of TYT, who then accused us of being a part of this like
we have advertisers,
because we have advertisers,
that we actually like are paid to announce that connection on the show as a part of the advertisement.
Right. And like, but that was their kind of branding of independent is undercut by the Peter Thiel money from both like these exploitative Medicare Advantage things and also Poly Market. So, but that's even somehow still more independent than taking money like directly from a Democratic firm and then saying you can't disclose it too, because it's one thing to read an ad for Medicare Advantage and like, all right, people can look into it and see how shady this plan is.
Yeah, Vivek Ramaswamy founded that company that Cenk's reading ads for. And I'll agree with Emma that it is slightly better, but I think she's being kind of polite to TYT in this. Taking multiple venture capital funding rounds pretty much means that you're corporate media. I don't know how the fuck else you describe it. You've got like 100 employees. You've done a seed round, Series A, and a Series B. Yeah, that's corporate to me. I don't know any other definition for corporate. Yeah.
But you're reading the ad. This is just a subsidy that really affects your coverage that you're literally not allowed to disclose.
It's actually taking creators under their wings so they know how to properly post thumbnails and descriptions that are going to get engagement. This is just about best practices. And I would love somebody to give me an $8,000 a month retainer to teach me about how to do thumbnails. Please, I'm as long as you don't have
Honestly, I need that more than Matt does.
Say like, oh yeah, actually, it's all the people who supported Palestine who are responsible for what's going on now.
So Hassan reacted to this. Here's his take.
Say then all those people noted in the articles should just say Israel bad. What do you see these shit Dem party defenders doing? More their audiences turn on them. I think they're just like actively going to actively try to defend their honest intentions. They're going to say like, no, we didn't do this because of money. We did it. They just gave us money for free and you're stupid.
And so I'm aware of that.
Because remember, a lot of this stuff is just like parasocial.
But it doesn't matter because I want to make sure my audience hears from me about this. Now, the most important thing to say is that the idea behind this group is exactly what I've been advocating for years.
That's such horseshit, dude. You were a Bernie Sanders guy. You were a hardcore leftist. You were a Dem socialist. You were talking about overthrowing the Democratic Party. You were talking about out with the old and in with the new. And now you are firmly entrenched in the establishment camp. You were taking pictures with Genocide Joe in December of 2024, dude. Okay? As he was overseeing the slaughtering of innocent Palestinian children on a mass scale. All right? You were there to kiss his ass, shake his hand, and tell everybody, oh no, he's actually doing a great job. That is a far cry from where you were 8 years ago.
For years, I've been saying.
I mean, I will say, it's not very surprising to me, at least, that like there are a lot of left content creators on the independent media side, some of which are very popular, myself included, Chapo Trap House, Majority Report. And I don't think these guys went to them at all. One must ask the question, why? Why is it, you know? Perhaps it's because if you have a truly anti-establishment opinion, it's not just like marketing, then
that's also a great point. Like, you're going to tell me that you don't care what anybody says, and you're not even going to reach out to Hassan Piker, the #1 left Twitch streamer. Are you kidding me? That would have been your guy. Oh, we don't care what anybody says. They're allowed to be as hardline as they want. You would want desperately to have Hassan Piker in your stable. He probably would have said no, but the fact that he didn't even get approached says a lot.
Yep. And then even though he was invited to the DNC, which is in no way affiliated with Chorus, he was the only one that got kicked out for speaking the fucking truth and criticizing them for not allowing a single goddamn Palestinian speaker to speak. So again, seems kind of funny how the, Chorus, they didn't hire him. And then even though he did get invited to the DNC, he's the only guy that gets kicked out. Seems like a pattern here. Seems like the DNC and their fucking propaganda arm doesn't want anything to do with people that are going to be honest.
It's not likely that you are going to have billionaires that fund you through dark money groups so that you can actively demand that they no longer be billionaires. This is not happening.
Left needs to organize independent media in the way that the right has been doing. The left needs to fund independent creators the way that the right does. The right has won even arguably presidential elections.
Yeah, I think they're also saying, this is the argument. This is the meta. Well, the Republicans do this too, and if we got to fight fire with fire, this is how we got to do it. It's like you're just making an argument to get money from the Democratic Party.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well,
crazy.
I mean,
gotta organize my retirement account.
Did you have the part also where we don't need to play it, but the Olivia Juliana tweet? Okay, yeah, just play a little bit more. Just because it was so funny to see. Here it is. Just put it up. The tweet. Yeah.
Making like what, almost $60,000 a year. Yeah. This is the major problem. Okay, you're right. Zero people come to this conclusion naturally. Okay, this is the issue.
And by the way, someone dug up an old Olivia Juliana tweet from when she very first burst on the scene. She was identifying as a DSA fucking progressive. So again, you want to tell me that this fucking money has nothing to do with it? And you could say, well, people like Olivia Juliana, they were always opportunists. They were just, saying that because that was what was hot at the time. And they were always going to evolve to go where the winds were blowing no matter what. And it's like, you might be right about that, but is that any fucking better? We should be elevating those kind of people. We should be paying those kind of people to become official fucking, or, unofficial spokespeople for the fucking DNC propagandist content creators. No, those are not the people that we should be rewarding. No, those are the people that should be fucking made irrelevant, which is what would actually happen in a meritocratic media ecosystem. The kind of meritocratic media ecosystem that, not to fucking brag too much, we've actually succeeded in, because we actually have an audience that gives a fuck about what we have to say. And we don't have to be artificially fucking pumped by dark money.
100%. And now I'm seeing this woman's picture. I was vaguely familiar with Olivia Juliana, but not in depth.
If the people that are getting paid by the Dems are saying shit like, Elisa Slotkin is becoming one of my favorite Democrats, like, you are just taking money from the Dems to spit back. You're taking money from the Democratic Party to spit back these kinds of takes for absolutely no one. You know what I mean?
It's destroying democracy, honestly.
Right. I mean, we saw, remember that the Vanguard guys talked about this, that they were approached with some like shady money.
Is it like Harlan Crow or whatever, something like that?
Or something. I think.
I'm happy to cut in right here and be like, this is the story I already mentioned on this very live stream.
Yeah, and just to clarify, it was not Harlan Crow. We think it was Peter Allard. We're not even sure about that. And honestly, sometimes this story gets repeated as if we knew for sure. We didn't. It was around the time after Force the Vote, right before the anti-vax stuff, and right before it was revealed that this billionaire anti-vax guy, Peter Allard, was covertly funding the Jimmy Dore show and Aaron Mate, among other people in that sphere. For literally like 3 months, Zach and I got a $1,000 patron, and it was totally anonymous. We reached out to the guy. They did not respond.
Yeah, we tried to give it back because we thought it was a mistake.
Right. We were like, did you really mean to give us $1,000 a month? So we're just like, okay, I guess we're getting this $1,000 a month donation from an anonymous patron. That's pretty cool. And again, we don't know that it was Peter Allard, but what made us suspicious was that as soon as we called out Jimmy Dore for his anti-vax insanity, for going right down that rabbit hole of idiocy, we called it out. We were like, we're not doing this. We might have agreed with you on Force the Vote, bro, but this is fucking retarded. Sorry, this is stupid. Immediately, as soon as we were off air, we checked our Patreon. The $1,000 a month patron from the anonymous patron had been canceled. As soon as we uttered a word against the anti-vax bullshit, Peter Allard himself was anti-vax. So we put 2 and 2 together. But just to be clear, it's not like we were ever met this guy. It's not like we accepted this money on any sort of conditions. It was just an anonymous patron that we speculated might have been Peter Allard.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty good argument that it was Peter Allard. He was funding a lot of people in that lane. People like Jackson Hinkle early in their start were very likely connected to that apparatus. People like the Convo Couch, if you remember that fucking shithole network from back in the network, just fucking crazy shit like that. People who were on the left ostensibly, but then paid to say a bunch of right-wing bullshit. Gavin and I obviously refused, and then, we had to dispense. You basically get rid of anybody who found us because they liked that we supported Medicare for all and that they, but we're, just diehard anti-vaxxers. We were like, fuck you, get away from us. We don't care about your money.
Yeah, 100%.
When they were more with the Jimmy Dore wing.
It was about anti-vax stuff. I know
right.
that.
And we have speculated that there's a lot of subsidization of anti-vaccine views on the internet. And I felt like that's kind of where this got really...
And again, it's not even speculation. It's not speculation. We straight up found that out. And I don't think it was us that exposed it. I forget who actually exposed it. Maybe it was us. I forget. But either way, there was a literal bombshell that I think one of them actually might have admitted it. But yeah, Peter Allard.
Oh, well, they got this like Peter Allard award, right? If I'm not mistaken, the Allard Prize for International Integrity went to Jimmy Dore of the TYT Network. Aaron Mate's also, won it. Let's see here.
Jin Dees did a piece about it.
Yeah.
Because all these guys, Jimmy Dore, fucking Aaron Mate, out here all the time bashing Brian Grimm for working at First Look Media, bashing Sam Seder for at one point being an MSNBC contributor. The whole time they were fucking omitting their own billionaire funding, which was coming on a monthly basis from Peter Allard, $5,000 a month. So not quite as much as the 8,000, but still outrageous to fucking smear other independent content creators as being corrupted. Meanwhile, you're not even disclosing your own billionaire funding.
Yep, 100%.
And we can play that if you want. That was a good clip of Graham Elwood, breaking it down in case anyone forgot about this, because I imagine some people don't know what the fuck we're talking about. This was a big bombshell on our channel back in 2023.
It's cost me money disagreeing with Jimmy. If I just all I cared about was money, I'd agree with him. But I'm not going to do that. I am only going to talk about what I believe in. And if you don't believe me or you don't like me, whatever, I'm saying what I believe in. No one's in my ear. Okay. And I know Jimmy was getting money from Peter Allard, who is a billionaire that was paying some indie, he's supposedly progressive. He was paying Jimmy what I was told was $5,000 a month. And then I heard this Peter Allard guy during the whole vaccine thing in 2021 told at several shows that he was paying, hey, I need you to push this anti-vaccine stuff. And several of the shows said, I don't want your money more. We're done. And Jimmy kept taking his money. That's my understanding. So there's a lot of stuff that's suspect here. It's cost me money disagreeing with.
Yeah, either way, that's what Emma was referencing. And again, we never had any actual direct contact with Peter Allard.
Nope.
We don't even know for sure that that's who the $1,000 patron was. We just speculated that. But unlike Jimmy, unlike Aaron Mate, we never actually chatted with him. We never had a single conversation. We didn't even know who he was until Graham Melwood spilled the tea.
Yeah, and it made perfect sense because we would have been fertile, shows to invest in had you just assumed we're going to do what's easy, which is ride Jimmy Dore's nutsack. But we were like, fuck that. We're two legitimate, broadcasters. We have our own POV. And it was crazy because people forget there was a time when it like Kyle Kalinske, Jimmy, TYT, all these crystal ball, it was all like the same nebulous, right? And now it's so far from that. So it's almost difficult for people who came to the platform late or came to the whole scene later than us, but we were all mixed up in that, and we were like very, very pissed off leftists, and so they did not understand that we were not the very, very pissed off kind of leftists that were going to become Republicans.
Yeah. And by the way, Aaron Mate never was like, he never made it his main beat, but he definitely never pushed back on Jimmy. And he sat next to Jimmy and associated with all of these cranks who were spreading this absolute pseudoscientific bullshit. Amplifying it. He never pushed back. And again, that's most likely because just like Jimmy, he kept taking that money. He wasn't going to sacrifice that money. And again, this is a huge part of our show, guys, tracking how billionaire money and dark money infusions into independent media makes independent media worse. Why do you think we talk so much about TYT and the Katzenberg cash and the Peter Thiel investments and the Jimmy Dore, Peter Allard connection? It's because at one point we were fucking fans of all these channels and we watched them slowly get corrupted and the product turned to garbage. And not just on an entertainment level, but on an informational level. They're poisoning people's fucking brains with false information and propaganda. And that's something that independent media should be firmly against. We should be the antidote to that.
100%.
Going, and there were wealthy people that realized this is pretty cheap.
Yeah. Well, unless you're Spotify.
Yeah, and then
that's
200 million.
Mo, but for real, like the podcasters, you got to think like if they even have a Patreon, you're a rich guy, you go in there and say, here's $1,000 a month.
Yeah,
that's all it takes that's nothing to those guys.
Nothing.
That's a lot for some of these outfits. Yeah. I mean, maybe
change my opinion on Elise Luck.
But the other thing is it's not just, and as I made the point, like, yeah, we weren't.
And that's important to say because I want to reiterate to everyone, Gavin and I were broke. We were broke as fuck when this was all happening, right? We had just decided to put all of our eggs in the we're going to be podcasters basket. College was over. COVID was ending. We'd been dreaming this up for fucking years. It felt like working on it. We're like, let's fucking take the plunge, dude. We saved for the first like year and a half, 2 years of the show. Gavin and I saved every single dollar that we made. I feel like we never talk about that or brag about it, but it's true. We cared about this so much. Okay, we cared about this so much. So you guys could be flipping and be like, why don't you sell out? That's what Republicans do. We're not going to. We're not going to. Because when I just signed a lease for an apartment that Gavin and I could no longer fucking afford, if we said fuck you to this money, we said fuck you to that money. We said fuck you to Jimmy Dore every single fucking day. We said fuck you. You're not a doctor. You don't know what you're talking about. You're costing people's lives. And we are not going to take a payoff to advocate for that. Fuck you. And it was a pain in the ass. And it took us 5 years to rebuild our show and be able to do it at the level that we're doing it now. But we would never blink. We would never flinch. Of course, that's what we would do because we believe this shit, right? And it pisses me off that you guys don't seem to have a problem with people selling out.
Yeah, 100%. And again, that was just such a eye-opening moment, and I'm glad we made the right decision because that's why we started the show. It was because we actually want to express our opinion. We're not just in this to fucking get rich. So many people, they pretend to be, oh, I'm an activist, I have all these opinions. No, they're just in search of an audience big enough to attract a sponsor because that's what they fucking want. They just want to get paid and look at David Pakman's fucking gallery of sponsors.
17.
That's what it's fucking about, guys. That's what it's fucking about. And it's a goddamn cancer on independent media because it makes independent creators no longer independent. You can't call yourself independent if you're taking that kind of fucking money. And you're surrounding yourself with that kind of people, shaking hands with Joe Biden. What now? I'm expecting you to fucking have, sound, reasonable analysis of his fucking candidacy or his presidency. Are you fucking kidding me? It's absolutely crazy. Again, it's like with the movie YouTube situation. Imagine if I was taking pictures with fucking Bob Iger and taking thousands of dollars a month from Disney. Would you expect me to be able to give an honest, objective review of the new Marvel movie? Fuck no.
approached for this incubation service.
I would see the email. Those emails go right to
yeah. We weren't approached this because they don't actually want to just organize the left.
Yeah.
They want to elevate certain voices who they like what they say.
Right.
And that's why it's not actually still a problem if, for instance, David Pakman would have programmed the exact same. Now all of a sudden he's got $8,000 more to play with from rich people why? Because they like what he says, the way he says it about, or just avoids Gaza entirely. I'm just not going to talk about it because people get upset during this genocide. That's one reason why these guys are valuable to these people.
It's in the second paragraph. It's in the second paragraph. It mandated extensive secrecy about disclosing their payments and had restrictions on what sort of political content creators could produce. That means they're dictating your content directly in the contract. And that is really bad. But the worst element of it too is that it required your secrecy about the payments. Like the thing is that a Democratic associated group, Chorus, is not left media. This is not like a well-meaning leftist, like rich person, maybe they're a comedian or something, or an artist, or an athlete. That's basically how non-sociopaths get rich, giving a bunch of money to outlets that they like to get their coverage more of a boost. That in theory could happen, although it really doesn't happen much. This is a secretive financial arrangement with a group that's associated with the Democratic Party that has veto power over certain things that you can and cannot say. It's a problem. It's a rot.
And I guarantee you one of the things you were not supposed to say if you wanted to keep that money was Joe Biden should drop out of the fucking race, man. Joe Biden should drop out. Joe Biden should not run for re-election. Guys, before a lot of you knew who we were pounding the fucking table. We were like, guys, there has to be a primary in 2024. There has to be a Democratic primary. Joe Biden has got to be a one-term president, right? Fucking crazy. All the way up until the bitter end. We were like, guys, he cannot win. Like, he can't win. You know, Talia Shire and Rocky, you can't win. Like, he couldn't win. Everybody with the fucking brain and eyeballs that were working could see that. And so if you weren't even being like, I don't know what the Democrats are going to do, guys, what are we going to do about Joe Biden? You might not have been calling for him to drop out because you might have thought that was off the table, but you had to be pointing out, like, it does not look fucking good with this guy. And after the fucking debates, dude, if you weren't saying it, you're cooked, right? And we would imagine, I think you can go back and verify, none of the Chorus people, I know David Pakman never called for Joe Biden to drop out.
Fuck no. I mean, maybe like the day before it happened, when even like after the pod save bros finally broke, I think they did kind of give permission to some of the other shit lib types to be like, yeah, I guess we're done with Biden. But up until the fucking bitter end, these people were, again, doing the exact opposite of in any way helping the Democratic Party, its message, its movement. No, that's not helpful. To just manufacture consent for an unpopular candidate, that's not helpful. You're literally turning more people against the Democratic Party by doing that sort of just sickening, boring propaganda, which is all it is.
Yep. Oh shit.
And it hurts all of our credibility when our colleagues engage in this kind of thing. I do believe that.
I feel indignant about it. And this whole thing that Brian Tyler Cohen's going on about, that it is,
with an eye.
It's what is it? It's about education. David Pakman's education. How long has he been doing this?
Yeah, no.
Are you kidding me? Like, you're recruiting for something else than just like helping the party win, because this dumb shit where Olivia Juliana is 1 year she has abolished ICE and defund the police on her profile picture, and then the next she's saying, actually she's at the DNC convention saying, yeah, all these pro-Palestine people need to shut up. Guess what? Bad fucking advice. Even if you don't care about Palestinians, you doomed any chance that Harris had winning by those decisions made at that convention.
Yep.
And to a person, find me one of these people who were against that, who spoke up, who did anything against, say, maybe like have Ruah Roman, a Palestinian rep in Georgia, maybe have her just say something. Throw us the meagerest fucking bone. No, you had your bones already.
And again, pause it real quick, because I wanted to show you guys this. That's most of what I thought was worth reacting to from the majority report. We can watch more if you want, Zach. But I wanted to quickly play this as well, and show you guys quite a reveal to really underscore just how pro-Israel this group is. This is apparently one of the creators implicated. Never heard of her. Never.
She debated Jank on Jubilee.
Oh, really? That's
yeah.
Okay. I guess I have seen her then. Either way, listen to her defense of this, and then I'm going to show you something pretty funny.
Wants a regurgitation of Chuck Schumer, but in like the TikTok sphere. Who the fuck was like, oh yeah, I really want to hear from Hakeem Jeffries, but this time from the mouth of like a 25-year-old TikTok Zoomer. That's what I needed. That's really going to do it this time.
Hassan, bitch, please. You are not going to out-progressive me. You know all those politicians you worship, Bernie Sanders, AOC, Zoran Mamdani? Yeah, well, while you were sitting on your ass streaming, I was out there boots on the ground actually getting them elected to office before they were famous. So who's the Chuck Schumer now? But Hassan doesn't know anything, and we're not DNC funded. So if you want to support our work and you want to fight back against Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA, then please go to our website, unfuckamericatour.com, sign up to donate, sign up to volunteer, and as always, if you have questions after watching this video, send me a DM and I will help you out.
So again, terrible influencer. I would literally vote Republican if that's my only exposure to what a leftist is. She's unbearable. She has terrible fucking aura.
She also didn't work for AOC or Zoran or Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that. Maybe she knocked doors. I don't fucking know. But she mentions this stupid Unfuck America tour at the end. Like, oh, check this out. You want to doubt our work? You want to cast credibility on our fucking work? Well, look at the Unfuck America tour. Let's do exactly that, Zach. Here we go. The first creator featured on the Unfuck America Tour website. Stephen Destiny Kenneth Bonnell. So this is who they're fucking promoting and acting like it's serious activism that's going to help the Democratic Party win. Oh, you can go to our shitty tour. We're trying to compete with Charlie Kirk by trotting out the #1 most deranged pedophile Zionist on the entire internet to prop up as a voice of the left, to prop up as a voice of fucking progressivism. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, well, yeah, it's a total joke. And actually, funny enough, I didn't even realize that this lady was on the Jubilee until she was on Destiny's stream bitching about Hassan with him. And I remember that clip that you played went viral because a lot of people responded to it with her job history, and none of them were actual progressive candidates. They were all like at the best milquetoast Democrats, right? And she wants to be like, oh, well, I was involved with this organization who was involved with this, but she was never directly employed by any of those people. And she did not support Zoran until after he won the fucking Dem primary. So I don't want to hear shit from any of those people, right? There's been this like new flex that people will be like, I talked to Zoran in January of 2025. It's like, bitch, we had him on 5 fucking years ago, and we've been his #1 cheerleaders as he's done things like go on hunger strikes to relief taxi medallion debt. He got a bunch of debt wiped out for those people. He did a hunger strike after October 7th to demand a ceasefire at the New York Assembly. Or a resolution passed in the New York Assembly calling for a ceasefire, rather. He's done all kinds of tremendous work for a long time. And nobody out here, like mainstream Democratic TikTokers, were celebrating that shit, right? And now you're out here listing Destiny of all fucking people, #1 sex pest creep, who is literally just like a fucking mainstream Democrat shill. He'll just shill for anything that's in power. And he's another one of those perfect examples, Gavin, of somebody who will just say whatever is popular, right? He was happy to get behind the Bernie Sanders momentum when that was the moment. And then by 2020, he was all Pete Buttigieg and fucking, Joe Biden. Pro-capitalism.
Pro-imperialism. He literally admitted that as soon as he got rich, he was just like, yeah, I threw all my progressive principles out the window because I grew up and got real and, had to protect my fucking own wealth. And it's like, this is who we want to fucking prop up. This is who you want to prop up on the stupid Unfuck America tour. Like, again, this is literally why Democrats lose. Propping up idiots like fucking Destiny, Olivia Giuliani, whoever this stupid ass idiot was who I just played the video from, who again has the just a repulsive fucking vibe, terrible aura. I would just do the opposite of whatever she told me to. Like I said, if I was a normie, I'd be like, oh, you're what a Democrat is. I guess it's time to go vote for the Republicans. Like, obviously I'm joking, but again, for them to elevate this kind of person as a representative, this smug, annoying, basic fucking liberal. No, it's not going to fucking move the needle. It's not going to move public opinion in the favor of the Democratic Party. The only thing that would is actually elevating real, genuine, independent media figures, people that have thrived and found an audience in a genuine meritocratic environment. People like Sam Seder or Hassan. You know what I'm saying? It's not, and I'm not saying they should fund them to the tune of $8 fucking $1,000. I'm not saying they should be giving anyone money, but you can still elevate these people. You can invite them to the DNC. You can actually give them access to politicians and allow them to do their job as journalism. That would actually be facilitating a healthy left-wing online media ecosystem, not just buying up a bunch of fucking, content creators to try to infiltrate what used to be an independent space.
Oh yeah, because what happens? People will just leave. People will just not tune in. If they flood the fucking scene with a bunch of bullshit, people just tune out and the scene dies, right? To continue our punk rock metaphor, right? That's what killed punk, right? You had two kinds of people, right? People who couldn't evolve and adapt, and people who came with bags of money, all right?
Same with rock and roll in general.
Exactly, 100%. That's what happens with music. That's what happens with art. It's a co-optation process. It's a gentrification process, and that's what we're trying to avoid here. But I thought that was a really excellent conversation that we had today. I have to rip a piss, but if there's more to talk about, I'll be right back.
As you guys can see here, Crystal did weigh in. She said, I see centrists are back to weaponizing identity politics in order to quash legitimate criticism. And yeah, I haven't even seen this one yet, but I guess that some people are trying to act like Taylor Lorenz is racist based on this report. And Zach, what was the exact claim being made?
Yeah, people are wanting to act like she's calling out, black content creators. And I think it's clear projection. And I think there's a lot of amplification by other like shit lib accounts that also want to protect their own ass and basically add some create a perverse justification for Taylor Lorenz to have done this when it was really just one of exposing dark money. Like the Too Raw, Too Real guy is like the definition of like a textbook shit lib. He made a meme that was like, oh, look, I'm Brianna Joy Gray going to like fucking work at McDonald's and like,
oh yeah,
he was that guy and like talking about how it was, the Green Party's fault that the fucking Kamala Harris campaign lost and basically not doing any legitimate introspection in the aftermath of the election. That was when I first became aware of this guy, but he was a total fucking cheerleader for Kamala Harris. And I don't know anything about Elizabeth Booker.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, mostly we talked about the likes of David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen, who are about as white as you can fucking get. So I don't know how you could possibly spin this in a racial way to act like Taylor was going after black creators when the majority of them were white, as she mentions here. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was desperate, I think. And then people who are really invested in making Taylor Lorenz look like she's some fucking evil, crazy person or a liar or, not a real journalist or whatever, or a hateful person. It's a smear campaign is really what it is.
Yep. All right, here we go. Sorry, guys. Take a look. And again, I urge you guys to watch this entire video because even if you're, still a little bit confused by any of this, Taylor did a great job in the video breaking it all down. Yeah, I thought this was a good response to, some of that criticism.
Let me just also say that claiming journalists whose job it is to challenge power, investigate wrongdoing, and report on news happening on their beats have some sort of bad intentions is really poor form. The job of a journalist is to be annoying. It's to piss people off, and especially to piss off people in power, and to hold organizations to account. So I kept digging and talking to creators. I spoke to several creators who attended an early chorus activation at the Capitol for Trump's joint address to Congress. The influencers were brought to the Capitol by Chorus to create content promoting Democratic messaging. It was marketed to the liberal content creators as an opportunity to interview members of Congress. But when they showed up, it became apparent that Chorus hadn't actually booked interviews for anyone aside from Brian Tyler Cohen, who co-founded Chorus. One creator who attended the event told me, quote, it was essentially go to the Rayburn building and go trick-or-treating for interviews. It was so embarrassing, and it didn't put us in the position to make good content.
So yeah, I thought that was a great defense too of, the role of a journalist. A lot of people that are criticizing Taylor Lorenz are like, why aren't you celebrating this? Like, don't you want Democrats to win? And it's like, even if she did theoretically think that Chorus would somehow help Democrats win, her fucking job is not to be a pro-Democrat propagandist. Her job is to be a journalist, which, yeah, means sometimes ruffling feathers on the side of the aisle that you're also part of. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy to think that a role of a journalist, even a left-wing journalist, should only be to go after the Republicans and to never expose weird financial corruption on your side. Like, no, that's actually the most important shit because, as I keep saying, constructive criticism is actually what makes a movement stronger. Pointing this stuff out so we can actually address it and deal with it. That's what makes a movement stronger.
Yeah, I think a big problem that the broader left media landscape is having right now is like 90% of the people who are non-partisan hacks, people who aren't just dyed in the wool blue no matter whoers, have done a lot of checking out from the scene, right? So a large portion of the people who are coming to YouTube who want to engage in Democratic Party content, I think a lot of them do just want to hear like rah, the Democrats are right. Like they want to hear Democrat propaganda. And that's so pernicious because it erodes the responsibility and the duty of a journalist, which is to inform and yes, at times to challenge, consensus, right? People have this belief system. That's fine. Taylor's going to introduce, competing information to force you to challenge your own fucking position on this with facts and evidence. And people will say it's been debunked. It hasn't been debunked at all. That's why you haven't seen any actual debunking. You've just heard people say, this has been debunked. This is a smear campaign. That's what Donald Trump does when people accuse him of shit that's correct. And that's what really fries my fucking shit about this, guys. Everybody who took this money is behaving just like Donald Trump does when he gets caught with his fucking hand in the cookie jar. They're behaving just like MAGA does, and we have to be better than that. We have to be better than that. Okay? We cannot accept, hey, I want to be fed propaganda 24/7, 365. You have to want information that is correct. Otherwise, you are just as bad as MAGA. Let me say that again. You have to want information that is correct and not just information that makes you feel good. Not just information that reinforces your values. Not just information that, the Democrats are good. That's right about everything. Oh, I can't take it when anybody says anything bad about the Democrats. Okay, grow up then. Or go join fucking MAGA, because that's what people who have no belief system and just want to feel good do. Okay, but here on the left, we're actually supposed to stand for something. We're actually supposed to say, hey, we want to uplift the bottom and fucking bring down the top a little bit. Yeah, we want to create some equality for everyone. All right, we're not just going to say, yeah, let's take some bribes. That's convenient.
Yep, 100%, 100%.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there. Be there. The Vanguard will be there.